Well, all right then. Not much happened last session. Dimmy was accosted, almost arrested, and met the super sexy space cowboy Jared Kincaid, who killed a bunch of cowboys or a bunch of law people with her help, and they escaped. There were some heated words, questions of loyalty, and that sort of thing, and several kind of small microcosm arguments and heated debates. You actually bought some nanofuses after accepting two jobs, one requiring nanofuses to be taken to the Green Bank, and one requiring a tea set to be picked up from the Syrian colonies and taken to a planet just off the Inter-Asset Highway. And the final thing was that Kira gave Dimmy permission to send her message. And so you guys are still on the highway, coming towards the sort of what would you call it? The sort of turnoff, I guess, for the Syrian colonies. You're sort of getting near to that point, and maybe Orson is getting ready to kind of leave the or jump through the sort of upcoming exit gate. What is everyone doing? It's probably been a couple more days. I assume Dimmy would have sent her message.
Yes.
All right. Do you want everyone to know what the message is, or do you want to keep it a secret?
No, I don't mind. So yeah, Demi will, once she's like double checked how to do it with H a few times, maybe writing down the instructions so that she doesn't mess it up, will set like the hacking decoder thing to send her encrypted message. And it is simply, why I never wanted things to end up this way. There are lots of things I wish to try. I wish to say to explain myself, but there are no justifications worthy enough. I only hope that you do not hold as much hate for me as I fear you do. I want you to know that while I am not sorry I left, I am sorry that it meant leaving you. I wish things were different. And with the sign off of Sunshine.
And that's the letter Y at the start, just for the sake
Yes.
of Dan's notes.
If you have that, could you paste it?
I do.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I will also paste the response, which is Legionnaire Manius. When you left, you made a choice. When I stayed, I made mine. That is all. Turn yourself in, and I can help you. Draconarius Casal.
Yeah, Demi will read that and not really have much of a response. Not if I don't know if anyone would be around while she was getting it or anything like that, but it's like kind of one of those things where she like will read the message and then like walk away without any sort of outward response.
Very well. And so a couple more days pass, and finally the turn-off comes, and you sort of slow down and exit the gate, and you find yourself once again in open space. And you know it's a pretty straight shot to the Syrian colonies. distance is not too great. Probably, a day or two of straight flying.
We were heading to the Green Bank first, I think, weren't we? Well, you said the Syrian colonies.
Yeah. Sorry, I might have got mixed up then. The Syrian colonies are on the way to the Green Bank.
Yeah.
But it's much more time pressing, the Green Bank job. So that might have just been me messing that up.
Am I wrong, or
No, we were going.
am I misremember? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, my apologies. So then,
People speak up.
yeah. So you don't turn off towards the Syrian colonies. My bad. But you keep flying past First Century, which is it's the second largest space station on the highway after Zuva. And you pass by that and eventually break off towards the Green Bank. It's maybe half a day towards the Green Bank when you begin to hear like a kind of comms beeping distress signal. A good old-fashioned distress signal popping up on the scanners a little ways out from your journey. Not enough that it would impact your ability to get there on time, but enough to where you can't see the ship in front of you, if that makes sense. Or the source of the signal, rather.
Cap, we got something. You might want to come out the office.
Kira will make her way to the puppet. What you got, man?
See that blinking light? Someone's in trouble. It's only a little detour off our journey, but might be something in it.
Yeah, we probably could use some good karma.
So you change course and eventually come to the site of a previously ransacked ship. It looks to be a sort of medium-sized transport ship with like some pretty sort of serious like security defenses, but they've all been blown out, and you can see like one of the doors has been like actually blown open, and so the whole thing has just been spaced, and there's like debris and papers and that sort of thing like all floating around this kind of blasted ship, but the distress signal comes from it.
Any signs of life?
Can I do a systems or something?
Yeah.
Or H, I don't mind. $18.
Yeah. You get one pretty faint sign of life on board.
Whereabouts? Do we have an idea? Like bridge?
Yeah.
Or
You think not bridge. It looks to be one of the sort of rooms in the center, like pretty kind of, not the bridge, not the engine, not the cargo bay. Like one of the sort of, it could be, a utility room of some kind, or like, so crew quarters, something like that, like kind of in midships.
Do we, just from whatever life scanner we have, is it any life? Is it likely to be a person?
Yeah,
alien,
it's life,
sentient mold?
life enough to be like a person, a creature of sentience.
Okay.
It's not going to be a rat or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I think we have one. right about there, and he like points out to. I imagine there's like a little screen that has scanned the ship, and there's another little blinking dot
Yeah.
or something. I think it's a crew quarter, somewhere in the middle.
Go ahead and send the data over. We'll get a landing party together. You want to order in place, or you want to see if we can get Penfold up here?
I mean, can I leave it stationary relatively safely, or is Penfold gonna wreck shop?
No, Penfold's proficient in spacefaring
Okay.
things. You feel like, you know, as comfortable as you would be leaving in H's hands. Like he's not bad.
Sure. Okay. He will comes into Penfold and just go, Penny, got a job for you.
I will be on my way, sir. And you hear like the click, click, click footsteps of Penfold coming up the steps to the bridge.
I'm really glad I managed to get the voice to match.
Orson is, I'd say prepping, but he doesn't really have anything to do, so drinking, until Penfold gets up here and just goes, right, we got a life sign on board. We're going to go check it out. Do you mind keeping the gypsy steady?
Godspeed, Mr. Kane. I will hold her steady. And he'll like move and sit in the seat.
I think I kind of want him to have like
He has a booster.
yeah, like a booster and like little mops or something tied to his feet, so he could like press the pedals or whatever, or like
Kira,
extended wrenches.
yes. Kira will calm everyone. Doc, H, Demi. We're going on a humanitarian mission.
I got those environment suits, and all geared up for us. We can give him a whirl.
Seems like the perfect chance to try them out.
Do we have one for the person?
Well, suppose not.
Well, let's get
Well,
over there.
I got spacesuits and environment suits.
Yeah.
The extra environment suit might be able to. It can handle space for a short time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go see what we've got before we decide what extra equipment we need. Doc, I recommend you bring over some healing.
The doc
Muted,
nods
Andrew?
sagely.
Okay.
Oh, muted. Cool. Awesome. Yes, always.
Let's suit up and head out.
Alright. So you guys kind of get like, follow the beeping of the data pad as you step down all suited and booted. Traveling through the corridors, and you're seeing like signs of a gunfight, like a few corpses. There's a lot of corpses of like people in lab coats and a few like private security looking guys. Lots of like, you think civilian science operation kind of thing. But then equally you see like several corpses floating around of what looks to be kind of raider corsair types, piecemeal armor and spacesuits, jerry-rigged weapons held together with like tape and stuff, like very kind of low-level ruffians.
Insignia that might identify what group they work for, as far as like.
Make me a history
hierarchy?
check.
Sure. $15?
Nah, you see some like splashes of paint on some of their stuff, but nothing recognizable to you anyway.
This isn't where we were heading, is it?
How do you mean?
No, we're on the way, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, like half a day. This could have
Yeah.
gotten blown off course. Maybe?
I was thinking maybe this was the thing that was bringing them the thing in the first place, and it didn't get
Yeah.
there. I got the sense he was on a base, right, or something
Yeah.
terrestrial.
He was on a planet. You have the details of the planet you're going to.
Sure.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, it's called.
Because, they've got space vids about this kind of thing, and it never usually ends well for a boarding party.
Well, that's why I brought everyone with us.
I think the planet you're going to is called Maria.
Oh boy.
Marya. Yeah. And yes, so you kind of move through the halls, and eventually you come to where the life sign is. You're in a sort of fairly busted up corridor, and you can see like most of the rooms have been like kicked in, searched quickly. You think it was definitely a case that the pirates won, kind of looted the place and left. But you see one guy in pirate garb. He's wearing a spacesuit, but you can see like the face mask is kind of like fogging up from his breath, which is very slow. And you can see his arm appears to be trapped in a wall that's kind of, or a door that's kind of one of those. It's got two sets, so it goes kind of horizontally and vertically, and it's like very kind of heavy blast doors, and you can see his arm is like trapped and being crushed inside here, and he's sort of hanging off, like breathing very heavily, and sort of hanging off this door that apparently they weren't able to breach. You see like marks from explosions and stuff, but it seems intact.
Said he's trapped under a door.
He's trapped in it.
It's like a foreclosing door. that
Yeah.
is just not
Yeah.
So
going
his
down
arm is in the
sides.
middle,
Yeah.
and he's kind of hanging out of it.
Can we go up and try and pry him out of it?
Maybe H could.
I was going to say,
Something a little more
doing that,
delicate?
can I have a look around and see if there's any way I can disable the door? So
Yeah, there's a little keypad that you might be able to crack by the door.
I'll give it a bash then, sir.
Systems check, please.
Demi, get ready to like cinch that closed if things go a little wrong.
Okay. I'm gonna be like holding the guy by like the collar to kind of pull
Yeah.
him out quickly.
You see he's unconscious from the look of him.
Yeah.
You might need to. It's a 14.
14. Yeah, you are able to open the first set of doors, but the second are still closed, or like on his arm, and it's not perfect, but it's progress.
Can I hear anything on the other? I know they're like thick metal doors, but
Yeah,
can I
make
hear
a
anything?
perception check.
I am okay at those. Probably not. That's a 6 on the die plus 4 for 10.
Now you can hear some kind of vague beeping, but nothing aside from that.
Should maybe have some dice out and ready.
What do you reckon, H?
I
Are
got.
the other ones kaput?
Looks like it.
Hmm.
I'm assuming I can't just do another systems roll.
Not right away.
Yeah. I might be able to try again in a minute, but I don't know how much longer this guy will have left.
I mean, I don't know if there's like a stronger security terminal somewhere we can get to that might give you the access you need, or like you say, he might not last. But then coming away without your arm is a problem all of itself.
Is there anything that Doc can do to try to stabilize him?
I mean, he's not dying per se. He's just knocked out. So, you know, you're not
Have any
currently.
like techniques, like a sternum rub or something like that to wake him up?
I mean, you could definitely wake him up, just like
Is he
shaking him or something. But
is he in a suit right now, or is
yeah,
he
he's
like
he's
freeballing it?
he's in a suit. Like his breath's kind of fogging it up, so it looks like his suit isn't, you know, operating very efficiently currently. So you know, if he stayed here forever, he probably would die of like oxygen deprivation in a few hours.
Yeah.
But he's currently, you know, that's your time limit with him is a couple hours.
I can wake him up if you want, Captain.
Probably not right now, because if he wakes up and starts panicking, it might reduce the amount of time we got with him.
Want me to pick him up and carry him?
I mean, you're gonna have to take his arm off to do that.
I mean,
Unless
so?
then you can try and force the doors that are still shut open.
Well, that's the other option, is we try to get those doors open the old-fashioned way.
I'll
What's
there a
losing a limb if you keep your life? I mean,
is there any gap to get like
yeah.
fingers under there?
Yeah, there's about an arm's width. Well, a couple inches, a crushed arm's width.
Yeah.
I'll let two people make strength checks.
Me and the doc?
Athletics checks to try and pull the door open if you want.
wait, athletic or strength?
Athletics.
What?
What is what?
Alright, that's a 16 for me.
I got 23.
Okay, so you kind of begin pulling the doors, and they're straining, but you feel there's like a click, and something in the mechanism like sparks and breaks, and the doors just kind of slam open. You can see what appears to be a like medical bay ahead of you. The guy like falls back. I assume like someone kind of takes over holding him after Demi's gone. He just kind of falls back. You see his arm is like clearly broken and messed up. But that's the least of your worries, because as soon as the doors open, there's like a blinking light overhead that kind of blinks on, and you see there's these five kind of metal pods in sort of station sections around the floor that open up into these very kind of sort of high-tech, advanced, I would say, looking androids, kind of humanoid shape with like very thin kind of heads that are sort of sunken into their necks. They look a little bit like super battle droids from Star Wars, like that sort of metallic kind of chest and the sort of robotic arms and the sunken head. And the kind of blue lights like blink on the central eyepiece as they sort of look around for a second, and then you see them like focus on you, and the light switches to red, and they all like reach up and pull out two like large or a large pistol each, and let's roll initiative.
Oof, I got a 5.
Big oof.
26.
21.
Could I have them in the chat if it's
I'm way ahead of you, Rob.
thanks. The last combat I had on the scratch pad for this game just says big sexy Russians. I was right. I think the Spurn fight was like Spurn baby Spurn or some shit. I always write something funny just for myself.
That's the best. See, what's your dex? Because we rolled the same.
5.
Okay, you go first, and then I go.
Okay.
Okay. Let me look at the chat. So. And then C's going first out of C and Liam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, damn, you guys rolled super well, except Andrew.
Thanks.
Space
I tried.
party.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be the scapegoat.
Kira, you're up first.
Well, I'm going to swear, and then can I get up into like the doorway and get some cover?
Yep.
All right, and I'll kind of like roll around the corner and take aim with my scope and pop off a shot.
Sure thing.
That gives me advantage, correct?
Pop, pop.
If you aim,
With
Yeah.
my scope,
bonus
I'm taking
action.
a bonus
Yeah.
action to aim.
Bonus action, aim, shoot, yeah.
Exact same thing. So for 19.
19, maybe hits, probably, yes.
Okay. 28 points of damage.
28.
Yep.
So you see the first of the 5, like, kind of take this bullet to, or this kind of laser to the chest. And you see that it just, the kind of blast like ricochets off its chest and smashes into something in the glass. And you can see like it's left kind of a pretty severe like rupture in the metallic outer armor. But like these things are just designed to withstand some amount of blaster fire, so it's still coming.
Yep. Now I'll try to get some cover in the door if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Rustle.
You see, in fact, let's see. I'll say, like, if you kind of duck behind, you can have 3/4 cover.
Sweet.
Alright. Dimmy.
Demi is going to... There's not really cover where she's at right now because it's her, the doc, and the dude, right?
Yeah.
Or is the door partially open? Or
The door is open.
is it partially open to
No,
give
it's
some
it's
sort of
open.
cover?
Like, you could kind
Okay.
of duck back around in the corridor.
Yeah, there's not really
but
a whole lot of room.
I'm saying there's 2 people can have cover by hiding on the other side.
Demi is just gonna say, get behind me, and just a reminder that if you use your bonus action, you can bonus action dodge if you're within 5 feet of Demi. So that's a thing for people within 5 feet of her. And she's going to use her machine pistol because it's armor piercing on these
Nice.
attacks. The first one is 19 on the dice. I
Yeah, hits.
assume that hits.
Yeah.
With 6, 10, 15 points of damage on the first strike.
And this is against which one, sorry? Just anyone?
Any one of them, yeah.
Sure thing.
Probably the closest
Yeah.
to her. And then the next thing, same thing again. Only I'm going to do the sharpshooter on the same guy.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to hit. That was real bad. Does a 9 hit?
A 9 does not hit, I'm afraid.
Okay. That's my go, Dan.
Yeah, H.
I'm having I want to use the electric cannon, but I want to see exactly how it works. It's an action to summon, and then probably another action to actually shoot the thing. Or does it have its own initiative?
Mm.
A little bit on each of those turns. Oh, I take a bonus action to activate the cannon. I'd lose my dodge though.
How many droids are there again?
5.
I don't think you're within 5 feet of Demi, to be fair. I think you're a bit back.
That's fair.
I think it's just the dock.
Is there anywhere I can grab cover from where I am?
You can grab cover, but then if you do, no one else will be able to. So that's a decision you have to come to on your own.
Oh, I don't like the way you said that. Okay.
I think there's 2 pieces of cover. One of them carries in, and then there's a third extra bonus piece of cover, which is Demi. So the
Yeah.
doc might be able to get cover, and you might be able to get cover. And don't worry about Orson.
I hate having to make decisions.
Well,
Okay,
do
sure.
you can, but I'm just saying, don't worry about the cover if that's what you're concerned about.
All right, here we go. H is gonna grab cover, and as she's running, she's gonna. How do I describe this? Like out of her toolbox bag that she just has with her, she pulls out a little ball. She throws it, and it like opens legs out, and comes up, and there's a little cannon on top. She's gonna get into the cover, and then as a bonus action, she's gonna shoot at one of the droids.
Dope.
With the cannon? The cannon you're shooting?
Yeah, with the
Cool.
fourth ballista.
Nice.
You have 3/4 cover.
Cool. On a hit. Oh, it's a range spell attack. Oh, I rolled a muse. That's a 10.
That's a miss, I'm afraid.
Oh no, don't call him a little droid muse.
You see,
No.
so you see the gun like kind of fire, and the whole thing kind of jerks back as it does, and it just goes straight towards one of the droids, and the droid just kind of like its chest piece, like its torso and above, just twist horizontally for a second on its legs, kind of, and just spins right round to avoid it, and you see its head kind of twist to like reevaluate as it just kind of finesses your attack there.
Oh no. And that's me.
Awesome.
Okay, so the whole place had been space, so we've been floating around during this, right?
Yeah.
So I imagine it's going fairly slowly at a leisurely pace, but then this is kicked up. While everyone goes like sideways for cover, Orson is basically mounting up on like a wall strut and like crouching down, and then he's just gonna launch straight into that room.
See, Dan, this is why I love you.
So I imagine him twisting through the air, like past the floating pirate and past Demi's shoulder, and he just goes soaring into this room. I don't know how big the med bay is to have 5 droids in it, but
Yeah, it's
can
pretty
he end
massive.
up roughly in the middle of them, or like covering
yeah,
2?
definitely.
Sure. So he ends up in combat with some amount of them.
Yeah.
And that, I presume, is his like 50-foot movement speed to do that. And then he's going to. Does he have any idea what his monk stun attack does to robots, and if it works?
You can definitely stun them. It, like, it sort of acts like an EMP, like it sort of fries them for a second.
Okay, just
and
like that
basically
burst
has
of
the same
energy.
effect, yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to know if they're immune to it or not. Then with Striker, as he's like going around with his strikers, he will box one of them, and miss, and he will box another one and hit with a 21 hit,
Hits.
presumably. 1d6 and then 1d4 for the laser. Ooh, 4 and a 4 for 8, plus another 4 for 12.
12.
As he punches one of them.
Yeah.
Can that one make a stun? Save,
Yeah.
probably. DC 14.
That's a 7.
Okay, so he pops that one.
Yeah, so you just kind of punch it, and you see like the a little of Orson's juice kind of smash it, and you see that it just kind of sparks in its head. That's kind of like sequestered like on its chest. It doesn't really have a neck, but the neck sort of extends and it stumbles backwards, like shaking and rattling as it sort of like tries to recalibrate itself.
Okay. So if he can maneuver, because he's stunned one and it's not threat, can I get between two others? Like the one that I missed potentially and
Sure
another
thing.
one? Okay, so he probably kicks off that one in low
Yeah.
gravity after he's stunned it, and then kind of roughly kind of lands in between two of the others. And then he kind of like crouches and his arms like go out a little bit like martial art kind of Tai Chi kind of thing. And things just get a little bit darker as I'm going to patient defense as a bonus action.
Nice. What does that one do?
Hopefully, having drawn patient defense means I take a dodge as a bonus
Okay,
action, so
okay.
disadvantage to hit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that means I've drawn almost all of their attention.
Yeah, you're definitely
Dope.
you're definitely kind of the key focus of them now. You see one of them just kind of, it's like torso spins, its arm comes up and it raises this cannon at you, fires with disadvantage. That is going to be a natural 1.
Misses?
Yeah, so you just dodge it a sec and you see like the others, you see one of them is still advancing towards Kira, but the other two who can act this round sort of like look at you. You see their gun kind of like spin back, and like 2 little kind of shoulder pieces come up, and they're like red light in their forehead kind of like switches like red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, almost as though it's thinking. And then you see just these from each one. You see 5 tiny little like missiles just and just spin around and home in on you. It's casting magic missile.
Oh, okay. So all of the dodging means nout.
You take 16 force damage from the first one, and 13 18 force damage from the second. And you see like the missiles kind of like come in back into their shoulders, and they pull their guns again, now empty of that kind of ammunition.
Is that like a magic missile thing or something?
Yeah, that was magic
just shot me
missiles.
twice with magic missile, so
Yeah.
none of what I just did mattered.
I mean, you dodged 1.
Mm,
Well, the thing was I gave you the one
Yeah.
attacking you, and then I was
Sure.
like, well, the others aren't just gonna try something when they know that they have something more effective in their arsenal.
I know.
Smart
but-
NPCs. Kira, you have +5 to your AC. Does a 27 hit?
Yes.
Okay,
Barely, but it does in fact hit.
good to know.
You do have a shield.
Shield wouldn't save me.
Okay.
She was. You take 18 laser damage as it just blasts you, like straight through the shoulder with this
I'm
huge
going
gun.
to dodge that. Do I have uncanny dodge yet?
We're level 5 apparently.
Yes, we have. I have that. I'm going to
That's
dodge
crazy.
that in an uncanny fashion. You said it was 18 then?
Yes.
Dodge that for half.
And the other one just kind of like and like kind of shivels and like I imagine it sort of like bumps into the like kind of workbenches around and like just starts like kind of jittering and like accidentally smashing a load of vials and stuff. Guts, it's your turn.
All right. Pew pew. First attack.
Is this on the one attacking Kira?
Yes.
Okay.
That's gonna be 11.
An 11 misses, I'm afraid.
I believe I have an offhand, and I do, and that's gonna be a 16.
16 misses, I'm afraid.
All right, that's my turn.
You have a second attack? Or was that your second attack?
That was my second attack. Yeah. that was
Okay.
two attacks.
Are you going to bonus action dodge then? Because Demi's giving you cover?
Yeah. Gonna do that.
Kira, you see, or when you see like the one that shoots, the gut shoots at, like you see it just like completely ignore these two small bullets that just bounce off the like most shielded part of it and smash something else expensive.
All right, so I will kind of step out of cover, go into action, take aim at that one.
Mm-hmm.
Does an 18 hit?
An 18 does hit.
15 points of damage.
15 points. Nice.
Yep, and step back in cover.
All right. Demi.
Gonna try and shoot them again. I'm gonna go for the one that Orson stunned.
Sure thing.
So I'll have advantage. So sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for advantage, because that makes that a 23 to hit.
Hits.
3, 7, 22 points of damage.
22. Nice.
Is it still up?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot it again.
Sure.
Sharpshooter again. Roll the same thing twice. That's 17 to hit. That misses, doesn't it?
17 is what you need.
Okay, cool. That's in the garbage roll. What am I rolling here? 20 points of damage.
20 points. All right.
Uh-huh.
You see it kind of stumble a little more, but it kind of like you see it sort of spin around. And its head kind of like readjusts, and then the neck comes down, and the light kind of switches like blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, red, and it seems cognizant again.
No, because it would be stunned until Orson's turn.
Well, it's you know what I mean. It's getting there.
I'm gonna go ahead and action charge and
Sure.
shoot it 2 more times while I have the
Are these
advantage.
sharpshooters?
Of course. 23.
Hits.
Can I do better? Nope. Same thing I rolled earlier. That's 5 plus 5 plus 10. 20 points of damage.
20 points. All right. It's
Still up?
Yeah, it's looking bad though.
Sharpshooter shooting again. Does a 20 hit? Yeah, 20 hits. Roll better with these D4s. Come on. How about even worse? That's awesome. That's going to be 19 points of damage.
19 points. All right.
It's still up. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So you guys just. Is that your turn? Sorry, I'll describe after.
Can I shoot offhand without the modifiers on my bonus action if I'm dual wielding?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna take one more shot with my bonus action.
If you're dual wielding, you get 3 attacks if you would normally have 2.
Okay.
So you get 2 more attacks with your offhand.
No, I only get one.
An extra attack action. So
yeah.
She fires twice
it's
with the
with
main
the
one,
bonus.
then
Right, I
twice
see.
with the main one again, and then
Yeah, got you.
yeah.
Not gonna go sharpshooter because of the modifier thing. Does a 19 hit?
Yes.
Oh wait, no, this is the machine pistol, so I need to roll a different damage. Or not the machine pistol, the hand cannon. That will be 7 points of damage.
It is still up. You see it like you've blasted off one of the arms. You can't just see like Demi just two-handing like bullet after bullet after bullet into this thing, or blast after blast after blast, whatever. And you see like one of its arms, she gets it like right in the sort of sweet spot between its arms, and like one of them kind of falls off, and the whole thing begins like listing to one side, and it can't walk properly anymore, and it's like raising its gun like a gangster, like to the side, because its arm doesn't function to shoot forward anymore. But it is still technically alive. H.
Is there a point where they're about within 10 feet of each other where I'm not going to hit Orson?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to aim at that point, flick my glove so it's got a little, like, crackly earthquake symbol above it, put her hand on the floor, and the nanobots are going to, like, go through the floor and use Shatter on that point.
Nice.
They need to make a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage because they're made of metal.
They have advantage anyway on magic.
So then it's just a flat roll.
So yeah, that's a 15 and 11.
Fail. So they take 3d8. I don't have d8s because I didn't expect to be using this spell.
I thought you were going to say I did have d8s because I didn't expect that to work.
Let's go to roll this one 3 times. 6. 5 is 11. 12 thunder damage.
12 thunder damage. So that's going to be on that one and one of the ones that shot missiles at Orson. Yes, indeedy. Is that your turn, H? Does your little dude get
for
to
my
shoot?
bonus action, I'm going to make my little dude shoot.
Oh, God.
Come on, little dude. Oh, that's better. Oh, that was a 13 plus 8. So, more than 17. Come on.
Yeah. Hits.
I've forgotten how much I need to roll. Oops. Two d8. Oh, it's the d8s again. Hooray. 2. That's another 10. Force damage.
10.
And
which one is this on?
the most damaged one.
That would be the
that
one
isn't the one
Demi's
that-
just been
that-
shooting.
That isn't the one Dimmy's been shooting because I have
Okay.
a feeling that someone else can shoot that and just
Yeah.
immediately take it out.
So that would be the one that has been
missile
shooting
one, probably.
Kira. No.
Yeah, okay. Kira one, yeah, it works.
So yeah, that one's like real close to you. And yeah.
He also gets pushed back 5 feet.
Yeah,
From
so
the
it
cannon.
actually gets like blasted back into the room and like smacks off a table, and kind of like it does that sort of droid thing where it's like, you know, those Boston Dynamics robots when they push them, and it sort of has to like get its feet. It does that a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like torso spins, recalibrates. Awesome. You've got one off to one side of you, like looking basically dead. One behind you, looking pretty rough. One kind of on the far side that hasn't been touched, and then the two like right close to you are scuffed but barely damaged.
And Orson has 4 hit points. So he is going to have been shot to hell.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if his suit is in tatters, but it's certainly filling up with blood. It just laughs, just and the room starts to fill with darkness as it just starts to leak out of him, and he's going to cast darkness,
Okay.
and the entire room is filled with magical darkness. And then he's going to have clocked the exit
Yeah, of course.
and leave. He's gonna like spin in the air, probably leaving like a blood trail in the darkness, and then just kick off something and go circling back out of the room. He's gonna go the 50 feet. I don't know how far that gets him.
Yeah, you can get right out of the room. It's not 50 feet wide, this room, or long.
Well, I figured I went from behind people to into the room, and I would like to do that again. From his earlier scans and stuff, is there some sort of security terminal somewhere that we passed by, or
Not that you passed, though. In the bridge, there would be something like that. You know.
how far is that?
The bridge is going to be it's relatively large ship. It's probably going to take you about 30 seconds at your
Okay.
speed to get there.
Well, I have. I've done the 50 for this round. He is going to. I'm going to do bonus action, Step of the Wind, and.
So we'll say 250 feet is how
Cool.
long.
While he's gone by, I presume he could have clocked where all the scientists had died and any senior members of the security, and he's going to attempt to take their credentials on the way.
Yeah, sure. I'll say on your next turn, or in fact, yeah, we'll just do it now, like as a free action. Just give me a quick investigation check to see if you can find one.
16.
You find like a dead scientist like propped up. He's got a gun in his lap and a massive hole in his chest, and he's got like hanging from his lapel a little clip with a key card on it with a picture of his face.
Okay. Does it say, senior scientist something or other? Or something
Yeah, it
similar
says
to
like
what we did?
Marcus Rodriguez, senior medical officer.
Okay, so I've gone 100 feet towards destination so far.
So you got 150 left. So you're like kind of pushing down the corridor. Everyone else, you hear like banging, clattering. Like the droids clearly can't figure out where they are. Their like optical sensors aren't working in this magical darkness. What would you like to do? It's actually now their turn. So, which I just realised. So we're gonna have some of them make checks to try and leave. That's a fail. Regardless, I'm just going to give them wisdom checks. That's a fail. That's a fail. One above 10, please. That's a 14, which isn't good enough. So, yeah. They all kind of, you hear them like clattering around in there. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, that's a 12. You hear them like clattering around, unable to escape seemingly.
It's 30 foot across, just to...
Yeah, that's about the size of the room.
Sure.
Gutsbracker.
All right, I got a pew pew.
So yeah, you're faced with a basically pitch black room in front of you. You can't see anything in there, but you know all the droids are in there. So if
Can I
you
just blind fire in there?
yeah, you can.
Cool.
It'll be
19.
Yeah, disadvantage though.
19.
Nice. Yeah, that's a hit.
Woo!
Roll me a d6.
Yep, I'm on it. That is going to be a 5.
All right. And your damage, sorry?
6 points of damage.
6. So you fire in and you hear a clang as your laser fire like bounces off something, and you hear something else smash. But that's all you know. How long does the darkness last? Is it a minute?
I think it might be
Nice.
10 minutes.
Ooh, cheeky. Kira.
It was his defense mechanism. He's a squid.
Yeah.
So.
Kira.
All right. So I'm going to try to aim in hopes to give myself at least the straight roll shooting in here.
Sure. Aim at the darkness.
Fantastic. That's an 11.
An 11 misses.
Goddamn.
So you just fire in there, and you just hear the sound of something smashing.
I hope that was expensive.
Dimmy.
I'm gonna try and shut the door.
You can. So the inner doors are broken.
Yeah, but
'cause
the
you're
outer
pulling
door?
open. The outer ones, yeah. You'll need to do the reverse of what H did.
Oh boy.
So
I'm good at
systems check, please.
systems, not mechanics. Systems is intelligence, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a -1. Is Demi kind of does a 10 get it shut?
No, afraid not.
Damn it.
Nothing happens there, I'm afraid.
So that's my action.
Tis.
Okay. Can I pick up the unconscious dude and start dragging him back?
Sure thing.
Okay. And I'm gonna yell at somebody. Someone who's smarter than me, get that fucking thing going, or I'm gonna shoot it shut.
H?
Han Solo it.
Yeah.
Just be like, fine. Just how I was gonna describe it if it had worked, but it didn't work, so I couldn't.
You go, H.
I'm on it. And she tries to fuck with the door.
Yeah.
Rolls a number.
Is it a
It's
Liam
a-
number?
No, it's a big number. It's not
Oh.
a massive number. It's a pretty big number actually. It's 24.
Yeah. The doors slam shut.
I think we just keep making quick lack towards the exit.
I
You okay?
agree.
He's like 100 feet down the corridor.
Yeah, I'm still
probably
yelling
round the
for him.
Okay. I don't know what what condition his suit's in, to be honest.
Yeah. So
That almost killed me in a like 2 blasts. So.
your environment suit is pretty much ruined. Thankfully, the head portion like seals from the neck down, so you're not doing great, but you can still breathe for now. But like if you spend too much time, like it's the suits patch themselves up when they get damaged, but you are, your suit is running very low on stuff to patch itself up.
Would someone like to explain to me what happened?
Do you want to maybe get back on the ship before we do that, just in case these things find a way to get this door open?
Yeah, I think the easy explanation is them's robots are trying to kill us because it thinks we're intruders.
All right. Everybody back to the ship?
H doesn't need to be asked twice. She grabs the little ball, it retracts its legs and its little cannon thing, and she stuffs it back in her back.
All right.
While they're looking for a way out and or talking, Orson is going to have used 100 feet around to get to this bridge.
Yes, you arrive at the bridge. You find it's pretty messed up, bodies everywhere, blast marks all over the place. Make me another investigation check.
Sure. 16 again.
Yeah, you find like a sort of the only terminal that's on is this like large kind of flashing red terminal that says security alert in massive letters at the top.
Slam the card in.
Yeah.
It...
Make me a system check with advantage because you have the card.
Ooh, 19 on the dice plus 4 for 23.
Yeah, so you pretty easily like navigate your way through the menus, and you find like a system override cancel security alert feature, and you kind of click it, and it's like, are you sure? And you click it, and it's like, are you really sure? Click it, and like the sort of red light dissipates within the room, or just outside the room. Like you guys are kind of booking it down the corridor. You hear behind you the door go and open again, as finally one of them like made a check, and then you just hear like the sort of it steps out into the corridor, and you see the red light on its head just blink blue, and then it steps back into the room.
Can Orson, because he's pissed, either get them to the security droids to explode or shoot each other?
Sure. You can have them explode.
All right. He wants to sit like every droid. If it's a security droid, 1, 2, 3, 4. He
Yeah.
just goes fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and
Yeah.
just goes down the list, and they go.
Yeah. You
But
guys hear
it's
several
in
loud
space.
explosions from the. Well, I guess you wouldn't. Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, you would because there's material for the sound to bounce off. So you guys hear several
Muffled.
loud explosions in the coming from the room, or more feel them probably. Yeah.
I mean, he's conscious of the fact that he's bleeding heavily and shit's going down, but he's going to take this opportunity for a second while he's in this high security science terminal thing. He is going to look up the Euclid.
Okay.
Is this an Estron Bureau of Science ship?
It
Can he pull files onto like a chip or a drive or something?
it is, and you can.
Okay.
There's with this guy's credentials, you can get some pretty high. What's it called? High clearance material. It is going to take some time to transfer the files across, about 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
You say? You were
Yeah.
kind of breaking up and stuff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Rob?
Hello?
I think he left
No.
and came back, so.
Okay. You can hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
I heard something about 10 minutes.
Sure. But he's come back and not been able to reply much since, so.
Everybody see the chat?
Huh?
He posted in the chat.
Okay.
Said he can hear us.
10 minutes to copy the files.
Yeah, and let it take 5 minutes.
Okay.
I will be right back.
I did not get that at all. Okay, I see it now.
Hello?
Hi?
Hey, sorry, I could like hear you guys perfectly.
Yeah, we didn't really get much.
Yeah.
Or at least
Sorry.
I didn't.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi booster comes by next Friday. So
Here's hoping.
yeah, and I spent a lot of money on it, so it better fucking work. Otherwise, your boy's gonna get pierced.
Well, I hope it does too.
Thanks, homie. Keanu is done, Dan.
Ooh. He reached his final form.
He has.
He's not as Keanu-y as he was
No,
before.
he's got just enough Aragorn in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super fucking happy.
Tis nice. I'm gonna BRB real quick.
Robe?
Yes.
I decided I was going to play he's already been reckless, but I'm playing a reckless character, and I thought, if they were making attacks, better on me if we didn't have enough cover than on anyone else, and then you just magic missile the shit out of me.
So yeah, I do feel a little bad for that, but
So I just left.
Yeah, I felt justified and proud of myself for having enemies that think. So
Sure.
even if they're not really supposed to, those are good monsters. I like them. They were ancient constructs,
Okay.
which are basically a special type of stone golem from Prince of the Apocalypse.
Okay.
But they normally have slow as their spell,
Mm-hmm.
and slam as their attack, but I gave these ones a ranged attack, obviously, and instead of slow I gave them 3rd level magic missile, so they're a bit tougher, and to be fair,
Sure.
it was already a deadly encounter, but there you go.
Yeah, it took all of our best fighter firing against a stunned guy with all of our attacks, and it still didn't die.
Yeah.
I was like, right, well, I made the right decision in leaving.
It had 2 hit points left.
Sure, but the other ones weren't that hurt.
No, oh god, no. These things have
Because
a lot of hit points.
each of those probably over 100.
Yeah, 102 each.
So I was like, oh right, we probably would have all died in that circumstance.
Probs.
Uh,
But Jade did ask for casual murder, so
I mean, that is very true. I
she
did
didn't
for
ask
that.
who was getting murdered.
sure.
That's my fault for not specifying.
Yeah.
My bad.
Whoopsie.
I have returned with toast.
Woo. Toast. Space toast. Woohoo.
Duh. My meringues did not turn out very good.
Oh,
Slightly disappointed in that.
my mum made flapjacks today that also didn't really work, so
duel. It's not a good thing. Good day for baking, I
Bacon,
guess.
no.
We made banana bread, and it was a little crispy on top, so it wasn't ruined by any stretch of the
There is
imagination,
no
but we did have
God.
to cut the top off a little.
I'm-
Uh,
Glad it wasn't just. It wasn't awful for everyone then.
we managed to rectify it from a. It could have been worse.
God is
It-
dead.
It was like we lost, I don't know, the top 5% of the cake or something. It was just a little layer of black. So. And then I ate some of it anyway because it was actually kind of nice. Kind of crispy banana bread.
My mum loves, like, if there's a burnt thing on any food item, she is, like, in there. Like,
All about it.
it's really weird. Like, if my dad eats, like, a bag of, like, roasted peanuts, she won't eat any of the peanuts, but then at the end he gives her the bag and she just eats the salt. My mum's an absolute nutter. She loves salt and burnt things. She has her, like, she's a steak well done kind of person.
Oh.
And, like, her burgers have to be fucking nuked.
Like a biscuit, a meat biscuit.
Yeah, like, literally.
Ugh.
And, like, you know when you do a barbecue and there's, like, always one, like, black sausage?
Sure.
That's... She's like...
That's mum's
"Give me that,"
sausage,
yeah.
is it?
She also... She
likes the black sausages.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Sorry.
She also prefers the heel of the bread. So if we're having, like, a baguette, you know,
Okay.
for lunch, she'll always have the end bit.
I mean, I don't have any problem with eating the end bit.
No,
I
but
don't
she
necessarily seek 'em out.
specifically...
Yeah.
And if someone else eats both end bits, she gets really upset. It's like, it's my one thing. Honestly, that woman is nuts. You know, love her to bits, but Jesus Christ.
Just came across one of the more British articles: how to get afternoon tea delivered to your home in Nottingham. So apparently, some people are still doing business. Are we just waiting for Andrew?
Think so?
God damn it, Andrew.
been super enjoying The Mandalorian, by the way.
I mean, I was going to ask when you launched a room full of micro missiles at me if you'd watched it.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that was more inspired by Iron Man than
Sure.
the
You had a
stinging
little shoulder
bee
pop.
things or whatever it is. But do you know something? So I'm watching it with my family, like, as each episode comes out in the UK. We just watched the prison ship episode, which was Reverse Alien. Amazing episode. My parents, through the whole thing, were like, is anyone else finding this super boring? Or, this is shit, isn't it? This is absolutely shit. I love that. Like, they've really enjoyed the rest of it, but they just hated that episode. I was like, are you kidding me?
What show?
Mandalorian.
It is such a good episode. And me and my brother were like, it's fucking great. And they were like, no, it's shit. It's so boring. And I was like, I don't care. It's pissed me off that you're saying that. But you know what? You also hated Baby Driver. You just have bad taste in movies. Fuck off.
That was good fun. Like Clancy Brown is that giant.
I
hulking
still
alien.
haven't seen.
So
I still haven't
love
seen the
Clancy
last
Brown.
Star Wars movie because my mum wanted to go and see fucking Jumanji instead. And yes, Jumanji was pretty good, but I wanted to go see the last fucking Star Wars movie.
Well,
I have
Kevin
to say-
and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are a great comedy
Yeah.
duo right now.
And Jack Black in that is also
Jack Black is always great.
Yeah.
I heard he's retiring from acting though, which makes me sad.
Is he? I don't know.
That's what I heard. Could be wrong.
I mean, he's still doing like cartwheels on his YouTube channel, so.
Oh, and then I heard, and I didn't even know this was a thing. There's like a big group of people that like hate the Mandalorian and any new Star Wars thing just because the Game of Thrones people didn't want to do another season to pursue that. Apparently, I don't know if that's fact or not, but apparently a lot of people think that. So they're like, "Fuck all that new Star Wars stuff."
They weren't going to
even
get
know
the
that.
Mandalorian. They
Yeah.
had a Star Wars project, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Mandalorian, I don't believe.
No, it wasn't. That's
Oh.
Jon Favreau's baby.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. What did they do then? Or are
They
They didn't
doing
do anything.
Yeah, they lost it.
Oh,
Because they
they
fucked
lost
up
it.
Game
Yeah,
of Thrones so
They
badly.
they were gonna
Oh,
have.
really?
Yeah, they were gonna have a show, I think, and then it got cancelled. I think it was like they were gonna do like, fuck, what was it?
Cause yeah, I was video gaming with this dude, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't watch any of the new Star Wars stuff." I was like, "Why? It's great." He's like, "Cause the Game of Thrones producers." So I was like,
Yeah, they had
okay."
they had a trilogy of like spin-off
they got
Star Wars
fired
movies.
from those. They know
Yeah.
that, right? Like they're not
I'm
actually.
assuming they don't.
Yeah, they got fired from that pretty. It was like pretty much.
Rapidly.
Yeah, as soon as they were all like, "Yeah, we didn't really know what we were doing."
Yeah.
They were all like, "Yeah, okay, then we can't really trust you with this then."
Cause I was talking to him, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about starting Game of Thrones," and he's like, "Dope." I'm like, "Oh, come on, just cause of last season?" He's like, "Yeah, just cause of last season."
Yeah, so apparently they chose, this is all in heavy quotation marks, they chose to leave it because they were scared of toxic fandom.
No, they were fired.
Yeah, they were 100p fired.
Because that's what came out first.
Yeah.
Is that they're all like, "Oh, they just said that they're like dumbasses."
It was, I was reading the live tweet of like their Q&A. Oh my god. Some of the shit they said in that was just like, how do you have jobs? Damn. Is everyone back?
I think so.
Sound off.
I'm enjoying my God's nectar right now. It's delicious.
I'm here.
Me. It is me.
Hello.
Where's the Liam?
I've been here this whole time.
But you didn't sound
Alright.
off when I asked.
You did
Yeah.
sound
Right.
off,
That's my fault.
Liam.
That
Okay.
is what sound offing means,
Apology.
Liam.
From now on, I am 1, Andrew is 2, C is 3, Dan is 4, Jade is 5, and Liam is 6. And if I ask you to sound off, everyone's going to say their numbers. Okay?
74.
This is going to happen next.
Fucking
It's gonna go so wrong, and I can't wait.
Okay. How about this? Every time next session, I'm going to do this, and everyone who sounds off their number gets inspiration.
Hey!
I don't really feel like being sort of controlled in such a way? This
Why
isn't like
not,
an
I say?
authoritarian kick for you.
This
is
is a
it?
bit. This is a bit
Ruin me,
Pavlovian, isn't
kid.
it?
Anyways,
6.
it's gonna take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. 3.
Okay. So, what do you all do? You're standing in the corridor. You've heard the robots explode.
H is getting the heck out of Dodge. I'm off the
Demi's,
captain's way.
Demi's gonna use the earpiece because we didn't exactly see where Orson went.
Yep.
So, Orson, you all right?
We're at it.
Kinda. Feel a lot better for blowing them up. But you could probably, like, I don't know, just hear the holes in his chest or whatever
Yeah.
is going on. Like, but he's like cool underneath nearly dead.
You need some help?
Blow him up, didn't I?
That's not exactly a yes or no question. Or answer, I mean.
Does he need the clamps?
He might need the clamps, Doc.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you ain't fucking finding me with those clamps.
I got my nanobox. Don't worry about it.
Can we make it to our ship?
If that's what you think is best, Captain, and you don't want me to wait, yeah.
Hey, why do you go to the ship with this guy here?
Yeah, okay, and I just kind of fireman toss him over my shoulder.
Careful with that arm.
Huh? What?
His arm.
Like his arm is like crushed.
Oh. It doesn't grow back?
No.
That's unfortunate.
You have
That's
got a lot to
unfortunate.
learn.
Sorry, carry on.
Where'd you make off to, Orson?
Bridge.
All right.
It's kind of fucked. And you probably hear rummaging noises as he's either trying to extricate other people out of their suits if they're intact, or find another suit in a cupboard or something.
Yeah, for sure they have like spares up in the bridge you can quickly slip into. These are just spacesuits though, not environment suits.
Sure, but I'm not gonna die from
Yeah, totally.
exposure.
Totally. I imagine you just like pull one of them on over your existing suit.
Whatever's left of it.
Well, because you can't really change out of it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of watching as all the data like transfers over onto your disk, and like I imagine you sort of highlighted like, you know, all the folders that came up when you searched for Euclid, and like you keep seeing this one name, like flashing across as the files, and you know when you actually have them, you'll be able to read them more. But you keep seeing Project Hecate, like flashing across the screen, where it's, you know, it's like Project Hecate planning meeting 4 minutes, you know, like it's all different documents, but that name keeps like cropping up in the titles. So everyone else is just escaping.
Now I'm gonna head up to the bridge with Kira, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that Orson's okay.
Yeah.
You need to get Orson one of those homeostasis, external repair, and personal emergency system droids.
We probably overdue.
How much of a head start and how much of the data is downloaded by the time they get there?
I will say you're about halfway through.
Great. Right. Orson is there in a new suit.
You alright, Orson?
Still ticking.
You sound kind of mad about that.
You know, kind of mad about being shot a lot, but it was, well, got the blood pumping.
It's not the way you're used to, eh?
No. I have to watch out for robo-targeting systems or whatever, and he kind of like waves his hand in the future.
Yeah,
Fuckers.
that's cheating. You gonna be all right though?
He kind of like stands in front of you, like holds his arms out and like spins around a little bit in the low gravity. Ain't dead.
That's all any of us can ask for some days.
It's actually my favorite state for my pilots.
There's a rush.
I got
Okay.
the.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I got that. Well, I was gonna give you the spare suit that I brought in for the survivor, but it looked like you got yourself sorted. So
Yeah, this one's pretty sleek. I imagine it the ESB or something. Suit is like all in black or something like
Yeah.
that, and it's all with little colored details or something.
Yeah.
want me to continue tossing the place, Captain?
Yeah, I'd like to get any information we can on why the ship might have been attacked. Who might have done it?
Yeah. I mean, the place for that would be the black box, which isn't the terminal that Orson's currently downloading stuff from. It's another one that you can go over and boot up. And the last entry tells of a proximity alert of an unassigned ship, which generally just means pirates.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a huge amount of information aside from that.
Any course information where they might have been heading?
Yeah, they were heading to a small space station on the outskirts of the Green Bank, and basically you like look down at their what's it called? Cargo, I guess. There's like a word for
Manifest?
it. Yes, thank you. And you see, they were mostly carrying medical supplies. A few 100,000 stim packs, a few 100,000 like antitoxins, that sort of stuff, like all in crates in the cargo bay.
Is there a market for this kind of stuff?
Oh, for sure. And it's like, there was also like food, fresh water, like supplies for the people, the scientists working out here. It's pretty common that they get, care packages, deliveries, maybe some like mail post from people's loved ones on other planets. While they're like, wives, husbands, mums, dads are all out like doing research on the Green Bank.
Anyone fancy picking some of the stuff up and seeing if we can sell it someplace?
Can see if there's any left after the pirates ransacked the place. Is it on the other side of the lockdown?
So the locked door was just to the med bay, which kind of from your like cursory sort of travel through the ship was the only place they hadn't got into. But the rest of like the cargo bay and stuff is sort of down like on the bottom level of the ship, which you can get to pretty easily if that's what you want to do.
I can go take a look and see what's left.
Yeah. So you head down there, and like the first thing you can see is that the whole place has been spaced. There's like a big cargo bay door open, and like everything is pretty much gone, either taken or flushed.
If I close that door, will it re-pressurize the ship?
It'll repressurize some parts of it, but like there are two corridors, or a few corridors like up on the top level that have the door you came in that was like blasted open.
Mm-hmm.
That one's still buggered, so it won't pressurize
Okay.
the whole ship, but some of it.
I'll go ahead and close it just to get some pressure going.
Yeah, and you feel the like artificial gravity immediately begin working as it kicks back in, and you're like left kind of standing in this pressurized section. In the level above, about half of it is pressurized. Like they have sealed doors, so there's some spaces where oxygen is now like pumping through again. That'll be a while before the ship's actually oxygenated. But the places were
So-
up and running again to some extent.
So pretty much, pirates either swiped everything or spaced everything except for what was in the med bay.
Yeah, seems like.
Okay. I suppose we can try and go see what's in there now that Orson exploded all the droids.
Sure. So you like march up there. You find it's a fucking mess. There's smashed glass and vials everywhere. There's scorch marks all over the walls. Droid corpses like everywhere. It's just their heads that explode, so the rest of them are still kind of intact. The big guns lying on the floor. You see there's like several like locked sort of long metal crates, like maybe 2 feet long and like half a foot wide, that have like big sort of red like crosses on them for like medical supplies. And you see there's several like smashed pieces of medical machinery, though you do see there's like one thing still pretty much intact aside from like a little bit of burns to the sort of fabric sections of it, is like a really expensive looking like hospital chair. It's kind of like a dentist chair that can go up and down and like has lots of like medical like diagnostic functions, and you find like a few like choice pieces of medical equipment that are unharmed, that you reckon like altogether with the equipment in here probably a couple thousand units.
Do they have ESB logos on them?
No, they're like all made by private companies, so they're used by the ESB, but they're not like ESB brand
They're not proprietary.
machinery. Yeah.
Okay. I was wanting to make sure we wouldn't get like
Yeah.
like, hey, what you doing with that?
What are you doing with those ESB clamps?
Yeah.
We found them somehow.
Hmm. I got shot and they patched me up, and I got to keep them as a souvenir. Because you reuse you don't reuse clamps apparently. Yeah, Demi will tell Kira what she's found.
Get that in the cargo bay. Maybe make a little bit of money.
Aye, Captain. She'll start breaking it down as best she can to get transported over.
Yeah, sure. It takes a little while. The chair's going to be a bit of a pain because it's heavy.
We do have that loader droid.
We're also in zero gravity.
True. It's bulky then.
It's
but-
bulky.
yeah.
Better.
But yeah, the loader droid would be able to do it. No problem.
I'll ask H to bring it over.
Can do. Sends the loader droid over.
Yeah.
Do I have it named yet? But it's coming.
But yeah, anything else you want to grab?
Uh,
Just the various equipment.
Yeah, and the crates.
Yeah, so you like kind of pop open the crates and you see they're just full. Each one is full of 10 greater level stim packs.
How
And
many crates?
There's 2 intact. The rest are all blown to shit.
2 intact crates with
10 each.
Yeah.
10.
So 20 greater healing potions in D&D terms. Clamp
Okay.
free.
It's the way you like it.
If you actually zoom in on a microscope, there's just like tiny clumps floating about the solution.
They're like little nanobots that are just
Nano clamps.
I imagine like
they look like little crabs, but they're all
I'm picturing clamps in this climate are seen like leeches in medicine are in
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
hope so. But like I still cling to that
Yeah.
like tech. Like go like no, you don't understand the benefit. You
Yeah.
know all this new medical technology. It's bullshit. You get real results with clamps, and everybody else is like, this guy's insane. But yeah, I just stick to it.
Yeah. I love it. But yes, there is plenty of like it's just stuff like syringes and like diamond tipped scalpels that are like these small items, but each one is worth like a large amount of units because they're made to a very specific specification that you can flip for a great deal
Diamond
of.
tip scalpels.
Oh hell yeah, bro!
Oh, I'd really like that. I mean, I like old stuff, but I like new medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's got diamonds in it. But yeah, you can get everything back on the ship. Also, anything from the robot carcasses, feel free to take. They're
I'm having it.
they're not necessarily ESB, but they're very standard like Estron security droids. So it's not out of the world of possibility. You can buy these like secondhand. So for you to
The
have
security droids that fucked us up?
yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'm gonna salvage as much as I can, and then I'm gonna add personal security droids to my list of things to build.
So
They are kind of in pieces right now.
yeah, so their heads have all exploded. So their bodies you've kind of got the robotic part of them, but as for like all the software, that's gone. So you will need to code and build. You'll need to like build the motherboard and CPU and everything for them and code them, and that will take experimentation, which I'm looking forward to.
Sure.
I mean, apparently you can buy them second hand, so you could just go buy another head and then mess with that.
But where's the fun in that?
To be fair, I don't know what else to do with my money. Let's fucking buy
I'm
a
not saying
droid.
you have to buy the whole thing. You can still mod it, but like,
Oh yeah,
you don't
take it
have to
apart, throw it
struggle.
together again, like a real gamer. I don't know.
Oh,
Can we, like,
Liam.
let's just tape a knife to our robot butler.
Yeah, just
Call him.
the knife.
It's not
Roomba.
Roomba.
Yes.
Personal security droid is what I'm gonna call it.
Awesome.
Or
All right.
So the idea that the butler bot just like takes his own head off and then puts it onto the sentry body, just like
It's like
kill butler
C-3PO.
engaged.
C-3PO in the Star Wars Episode 2.
I was like, oh no, things are going terribly. Let me switch into my combat armor. It just detaches his head and pops on.
Oh no.
Very well. So, you all...
Olsen basically hangs out there resting up.
Yeah.
Until his thing is finished, and then he's just going to pull it out and walk away.
Sounds good. So you all return to the ship with various body parts intact and swiped gear. And I imagine set off again? Sure.
Sure.
So you're probably a day out from...
Is there So
Maria.
is there the potential of like shooting this thing in the engines and making like the Hulk explode?
You can scuttle it, definitely. You
Just
can,
like so it'll be irretrievably scuttled.
yeah, definitely. You can use, if you shoot its engines with one of your missiles or even some laser fire, like that thing's gone.
Figure they don't need us knowing. They don't need to know that we were there.
Yeah, good idea. You sure you don't need someone else to take the helm for a bit and you go rest up?
He's walked in, like discarded the suit. You see that he's like completely like burnt or blasted, and he just like walks all the way along the ship, like picking up bottles that are scattered throughout the ship, and then like gets into the cockpit. And then I imagine that's where we're having that discussion, and he's just like, no, 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 I'm good.
Mr.
Okay.
Kane, you are in serious medical condition, and I believe alcohol is not the best option for you at this juncture. Says says Penfold, who like slides out of your chair to let you sit down.
I give him one of the bottles that I've picked up and just go, when do I do things that are in my best juncture? And just like flop into the chair.
Well, that is your prerogative, sir. And then he will like try and gnaw at the bottle to get it off.
You're just gonna come over while you're sitting in the chair, put the nanoglove hand to your chest, and cast Cure Wounds.
Cool.
I need to remember how much I need to roll.
Cool wounds.
Cool wounds.
Oh, hey, I need to remember to take 8 at once. That's a 10 health. It's not a lot, but it'll keep you going for now.
And it was more than I had. So he's got like one hand on a bottle and one hand was on whatever steering apparatus he has, and that hand like comes off the steering wheel and just sort of like pats your gloved hand that's still on his chest and is like, cheers, princess.
That's what
Makes
it's
it a
for.
little easier.
If you need any more, just let me know. These nanobots aren't going anywhere.
Yeah. See how fucked up this place we're going to is.
All right.
Gives her a grin.
Yeah. So, takes a day to get there. I imagine like Orson will trade off rest with someone for a bit so he can have that long rest to heal back up.
Sure.
Ooh, long rest. Hurrah.
And yeah, everyone can chill. And as you hone in on Maria, your scanners pick up the base details. You guys had the extra scanner, correct?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
That was on the list. It was one of
Yes.
the things we didn't do.
So there's the information. You have it's like very, very densely packed with foliage. Basically, the whole thing looks like one big forest. Though you do see like there are a few large volcanoes like jutting out of the canopy of trees. But it seems like very idyllic and untouched, as with most of the Green Bank. And as you kind of swoop in towards the actual destination, you see there's like a large sort of complex, like fences kind of spread around like a large open plaza of a few sort of small, what are they called, like portable cabin type science buildings. Like they don't look permanent.
Prefabs.
Yes, that one. And you see like several of the fences are flattened and smashed down as you approach. And there's no ship currently on the landing pad, so you just go ahead and take that if you wish.
Can we get any life forms rating as human or anything like that?
Yeah, there's 3 life forms inside.
Can we ring them up? We have their number.
Yeah, you can. Though you see, like, as you kind of, as your ship nears, you see a tiny little figure. Well, I mean, they're normal size, but they look small because you're far away. Kind of coming, like, the door opens and they kind of come out, like, looking up at you. They've got a large gun, like, strapped to them, but they're in a white science coat.
Yeah, we've this is Captain Emmanuel of the Osiris Gypsy. We have the
Infusers, ma'am.
nano fuses, right?
Infusers, I think.
Nano fuses.
Oh, fuses.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
right. I was right.
You were right. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
You see the, like, a sort of handheld guy, and you can see the guy down below is holding the data pad, so he's the one you're talking to. Face is very stubbly. He would be handsome, but he looks absolutely beaten to shit. Like, long, kind of messy hair. Just generally unkept. Looks like he hasn't slept in days. He says, "Oh, thank God. Thank God. Please, we've got your money here. Just land and we'll pay you."
All right.
So the gypsy comes in for a beautiful landing, as always. And as you guys kind of open the ramp and step down, he kind of runs up to him. Kind of average height, like, not a terrible build. He looks, like he hasn't washed or slept in days. And he says, "Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Are they inside?" And he's holding a massive gun, by the way.
Is it pointed at me?
No, he's like, just, he's got it safety on, like, trigger discipline. He's just holding it.
My crew will be bringing him down.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Everything okay?
Not really, honestly. It's kind of fucked up. We should get inside.
I mean, this is just a simple drop-off. I mean, we're gonna drop the goods, get the units, and get the hell out of here. Right?
I mean, there's something else you could help with if you want to make some more cash. We have loads of money in the budget.
What exactly do you need help with?
It's kind of a long story.
We charge extra for long stories.
It's not a problem.
What are you offering?
Well, if you, and he's like peering around the ship, like looking out at the forest, and he says, "There's, we got a few rogue androids. If you could help us take them in without destroying them, we'll pay you, I don't know, a lot. I'm not really the money guy."
Well, that's a problem. Because I need to talk to the money guy
She's
before I
inside.
agree. Alright. Well, I guess least we can do is come in for a conversation.
You don't want to leave your ship there, though. We have subterranean parking, if you're alright with that.
I mean, okay.
And he'll like hold up the data pad and kind of press a few buttons, and you see like the ground sort of, the landing pad kind of slides open, and the gypsy begins to descend.
just so you know, we're gonna charge extra for bringing him in alive.
That's fine, I promise. Come on, we need to get inside. And he's like hurrying you all towards the front door to this place, which also looks like battered and smashed to pieces. Well, not to pieces, like it's holding up. It's very strong, but you know, it's taken a beating, definitely. There's like some boarded up windows and stuff. Inside, like the place is pretty messy. You can tell like there's people been living here without supplies for a long time, or you know, on dwindling supplies, and it looks pretty heavily damaged in some places, kind of near the walls. He leads you through into this like kind of larger open lab room, and you see like lots of kind of hovering holographic pictures of various trees and that sort of thing. And you see there's a woman in there in she's in like a sort of black suit that's like ripped and scratched up. She's got a like large bandage across her like cheek and one eye, where she's been cut and patched up, and she's gonna have a gnarly ass scar at some point. And she like turns to all of you. She's got kind of straw colored hair, like pale kind of freckly skin, and she says, "Oh, thank God, it's good to see someone's come."
I've been led to believe you're the money guy.
She kind of glances at Vin, kind of shrugs and nods, and she says, "Yeah, Abby Whittaker." She holds out her hand towards you.
Kira, Emmanuel, Captain the Gypsy.
It's good to meet you. She kind of gives your hand like an extra squeeze, you know, kind of show her appreciation. And she says, "Well, this is my operation. You've met Vin. He's one of the scientists. There's also Alice. He's downstairs at the moment getting a wound seen to. We're pretty banged up, but we can't go back to our benefactors without results. Otherwise, none of us will ever be able to work again. So that's why we went private for our help. And if you're going to give us more help, well, our benefactors are very generous."
Yeah, Ben, he mentioned you might need a little extra help.
Well, I suppose I should really explain what's all going on, and she'll like kind of turn and like press some buttons on a keypad, and you see an image of like a large sort of rainforest tree like pop up on the screen. And she says, "This is Project Ceres, CERES, as you see it like written on the bottom. It was a genius idea by Vin here, who came to me with the pitch, and I agreed to set up a team. The idea was to create android trees." And she like presses a button, and the vision changes, and you see like a cross section of the tree with like wires and cables and computer stuff inside. Kind of flickers a little, providing both protection from the forest as well as up-to-date information on the climate, and able to gather samples for us without us having to travel. The android trees would be able to move and even conduct a wide array of scientific activities for us. But unfortunately there was problems with the code. With the Vin, and you see the man just like completely demure under her like pretty like dominant gaze. and kind of nods and yeah, I messed up a bit, I guess. And she kind of cuts over the top of him and says, "The trees are fucking insane. They see us, I suppose, as some kind of threat, and have spent a great deal of time trying to smash down both us and our compound here. The last ship that came in, on which Ellis was pilot, was smashed into dust, or near enough, by one of these trees. So, with your help, we think we found a way to be able to temporarily deactivate them, which will allow Vin to get in and right his wrong, shut them down, and then we can bring them in and fix the code."
That sounds pretty risky.
Well, there might be a bit of risk, but we can afford it if you're willing to give it.
Oh, you know what? Forgive me. I've been rude. I haven't introduced my crew. This is Orson, I'm a pilot. Demi, she my security specialist. H handles pretty much anything that needs fixing. And that's the Doc. He'll fix you up real nice.
And you see Vin's kind of like, not cowering, but like definitely like, you know, not in charge of the scene. It's very much Abby's kind of domain, and she kind of nods to each of you as you're introduced. She says, "Well, good to meet all of you. I've no doubt we'll need all your talents if we're to get this done. So look, there's currently 4 android trees, and well, if you bring them all in, we'll happily pay 8,000 credits, units even."
You got a way of shutting them down safe like?
We do. Vin has created something of a specialized EMP. And she kind of points, and you see like standing on a kind of stand over in one corner is a very nice looking, like well fabricated, like almost rocket launcher sized gun that you think could probably, you know, have enough force behind it to stun a ship, let alone a tree. And she says, "We'll hit it with that, and then, all going well, we'll send Vin down, and he can shut them down, but he has to be up close. So we need to stun them first, before they smash."
8,000 units.
8,000 units.
All right.
She'll hold out a hand to shake again.
And Kira will take it. And what makes you think that this thing's gonna work? I mean, he already fucked up once, right?
Yeah, he did. And she'll kind of turn, and he's like kind of retracts even more into himself. And she walks over to it. "We've tested it a bit. We have a small hover transport downstairs, and managed to stun that, so all going well. It should work on the trees.
Would suggest a remote shut off the next time you get going.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. And again, she like stares daggers at Vin, who kind of squirms, stares at his feet. Well, I'm sure you're all hungry, tired, so we have beds if you'd rather sleep here, or you can go back to your ship. It is kind of getting towards evening.
I imagine we could stay on the ship if we wanted to, unless you guys want to stretch out. Those bunks can be a little small.
Guess not.
Yep, we're gonna.
I'm gonna stay with the gypsy.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, and Abby will kind of glance at Kira. At least come with a drink with us.
I don't see any harm in that.
Well, that sounds good.
Armin?
And she'll kind of like lead you out of the lab and into a more like common room, sort of kitchen area. And you see there's like a cupboard she opens. She pulls out a bottle of booze with as many glasses there are people, and she pours them. She pours like a really small one for Vin, and there's one remaining. And eventually, like, you see this like skinny kind of rat-looking guy come in, wearing overalls that are like tied around his waist, kind of like filthy, and yeah, like I said, like has like those sort of Peter Pettigrew like kind of ratish features to his face. Definitely not human. Like his ears are sort of mouse ears. He definitely looks you know, not necessarily like a rat hybrid, but you know, ratish in nature. And he kind of gives you all a nod as he comes in and takes a big swig of his glass. And Abby will kind of nod at him and say, "Yeah, this is Ellis, everyone. You can't speak, but you can understand. So if he ignores you, don't be offended." She kind of chuckles.
So, who exactly is your mysterious benefactor?
Well, it's a private company. Freelink, they call themselves. General, just really, it's a investment fund, but they decided to invest in me, and well, let's just say I can't let them down anymore. Abby says, and she kind of like sits back on one of the sort of bar stools that you're all kind of standing next to.
And the nanofuses. Just random item, or?
Well, the nanofuses are what we're going to need to shut the trees down. Vin knows more about that than I do, but from what I understand, it'll let him override their programming, because someone designed the prototype to be resistant to tampering in case anyone found them, which, while on the surface seems like a great idea, isn't great if you want to shut them down when they go fucking insane, is it? And Vin kind of like mumbles something in agreement, like swigs his drink and scuttles off, talking about having to go make sure everything's ready.
So what exactly went wrong with them?
I don't know. I think they just see any people as intruders, and well, they're a little zealous.
Seems like a pretty rookie mistake.
Vin's that kind of smart where if you give him a robotics problem to solve, he'll solve it faster than anyone. But if you give him a common sense problem to solve, he'll fall down crying. And that's why I'm here to try and help that, but I didn't know that that was a fault until it became apparent. So she shrugs and she just looks absolutely shattered and she says, but anyway, I'm sure you folk are much more interesting. Where are you from?
Try to be. And what happens if... Here and there.
She kind of chuckles. She says, that's a classic
Cap
captain's
kind of
answer.
picked us up from all over.
We come
Well,
from a lot of different backgrounds, if you can't tell.
yeah. She like glances at you and she says, yeah, I can tell. I'm a New Union kid myself. But
Yeah, whereabouts?
well, I was born in Sparris, but I've been all over.
Yeah.
She gives you like a sort of cheeky grin. You from the New Union too, then?
Yeah. I guess.
You guess?
I mean, it's where I was born. Kind of moved around.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Swept up by the ESB when I was a teenager. Did some work for them, but yeah, they were fucked, so I left and... Well, now I'm private.
Well, what kind of work did you do for the ESB?
Well, I was in most of the robotics programs a couple years back. Mainly developing biolog weapons and a few defense androids, that sort of thing. Of course, things are much more advanced now than when I was doing that. But yeah, guess I laid the groundwork for some of it. She kind of finishes off a drink and pours herself another one and kind of tops anyone else up who needs it. She says, hope you don't mind me asking, but what happened to your eye? She kind of like points to the scars and then points to her own like bandaged eye and she says, you know, personal interest now.
Pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I was trying to do some work on a weapon and it backfired.
She chuckles.
Kind of want
Are you finished?
to. No, I'm good.
She sort of chuckles and she says, well, better story than being punched in the face by a tree, I guess.
Usually, I mean, just try to be like heroic but Nope, I was just fucking moron.
Well, she shrugs. It works for you. Gives you that badass captain vibe.
Yeah, I could have had it healed up, but annoyed the piss out of some people I was with at the time, and they thought it made me look like a scoundrel.
Shrugs again. I don't mind scoundrels.
Good.
As long as they're interesting, obviously.
I think Demi's in the back, like, kind of like rolling her eyes over to like look at H and Orson, all like,
H just
You're
realised
picking up.
But she never asked the captain about her eye.
I'm just like more like picking up on them vibes that Abby's throwing down.
No, serious vibes. You see Orson having seen the same, and he just grins at you, finishes his shot, puts it on the table, and he's going to walk towards the ship. Give him the privacy.
When it catches Demi's eye, she's going to extend one of her wings and point to the wingtips.
Demi's gonna nod a bit and be like, I think I'll follow Orson up to make sure the ship's secure. Ma'am, evening.
Yeah, I'll follow you guys later.
I'm going to go do some things that are very important.
Take your time.
I just imagine everyone goes and Guts is still standing there. He
Defo.
just hasn't
yeah,
picked up on it
100%.
at all.
100%.
Hey, Doc, don't you got something you need to be looking
No.
into on the ship?
And hey Doc, what you talking about? You got a patient in there, and Demi's gonna like grab him by the shoulder and push him towards the ship. You should probably
Oh,
check
okay.
on him.
He's actually got 2 patients.
What?
Because he
We
got...
didn't get rid of the other one?
I mean, did you just kill him or...
The
No,
one
I
was
mean-
nearly dead. Like, we've never dealt with him.
Yeah.
Supposedly never left him any. Where I was
Yeah,
going to
I-
bring up the guy that we just picked up because we didn't talk to
Yeah.
him.
I mean, he's still asleep, but he's stable.
I figured we got rid of the other one we picked up back when we were on Zuva Station, but apparently he's just been
No. The guy who was trapped in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys said 2 patients because there was like the other
Yeah,
guy that we
and,
saved.
I thought you meant Orson as well.
No.
I thought when you were mentioning that technically we never got rid of the guy from the pirate moon.
We didn't.
We never
technically.
said that we got the guy out of Medbay from that.
Yeah, we definitely picked up 2 guys on the pirate moon.
No, wait.
So-
Did
Maybe we got
leave
rid of
him?
him.
I think we left him with Gord.
That was probably the intention. I don't know if it was said or not.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what we did. We left him with Gord.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming because otherwise Demi's going to push him into the med bay, see the 2 guys, and be like, what the fuck is he still doing? But we'll say we left him with Gord.
Yeah. A fate worse than death, some would say.
Some will say that.
But yeah. And you see, like, everyone... Abby sort of notices everyone leaves and there's, like, a faint blush that comes to her cheek and she goes, Captain Emmanuel, play cards?
Play cards, yeah.
She goes over and gets a pack of cards. Lays them down. Like, begins shuffling. And, like, refills the drinks. You know, been a while since I've seen people, and yeah, it's making me realize I don't care much for this science life anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah, I made my money. Think I should just enjoy it now.
Well, I plan to take some of it.
Are you talking about cards or the transaction?
We'll see.
I think we'll cut there as a dog line. So yeah, we'll skip to next morning. So the captain may or may not have gone back to the ship. That's none of your lowly peon's concern.
Apart from, she's usually the one who does roll call in the morning or whatever, tells us what to do. But...
Sound off.
5.
Ooh,
6. No, wait, no.
No.
Am I 5?
I'm 6.
No,
I'm,
Liam's
what am I?
6.
I'm 3. I'm 3.
You're 2.
No, I'm not.
No, you
Oh
said
no,
Andrew.
yeah.
Andrew,
I'm
Andrew's
1.
2.
I'm
I'm
4.
3.
I'm
Yeah.
3. That's my favorite number, or one of my favorite numbers. So yeah.
I'm proud of you guys.
I wouldn't have noticed if she hadn't gotten hers wrong. Only reason I clicked. I'm like, you're not 6, I'm 6.
That's
it.
my number. What you doing on my number?
And so you find is the captain around for roll call the next morning? I suppose is the
No.
question. No, okay. Well, you'll wake up, sort of mill about, make coffee. Orson probably does up a nice breakfast.
Demi will try and help for once.
Oh god.
I'm just gonna put my hand on his shoulder. Oh no, he'd be fully healed, wouldn't he? Never mind.
Yeah, we had a day's rest. You can give him a boost if you want, but
It wouldn't help.
Over shield.
I really hope it doesn't cut his finger. Goes down 1 HP. I don't know. Demi can have the onions. Sees if she cries or not.
Roll for crying.
Roll for
Roll for crack. Con save.
But eventually, you regroup in some form. Either the captain will come back to the ship, or
Oh
you
no,
will
what's
go
my
out.
DC? I was rolling. I was muted. Damn it. What's my
Oh.
DC?
I don't know. What did you roll?
I rolled a 19.
The standard DC is 15, but you have disadvantage for tragic backstory.
Oh, okay. That makes it a 10. Demi's crying a
Demi's
little.
crying.
Kiro coming probably about halfway through breakfast, probably.
Austin doesn't tell anyone that Demi was crying about the onions.
Still.
This is not the onions. This is... I mean, it is the onions. It is the onions.
She's just like, you see her like carving the face of some long lost lover into one of the onions and just hugging it and crying.
Well, now you're just being silly.
Sorry, that was rude.
She's not that good with a knife.
Yeah, but the captain enters.
Good
Morning, Captain.
Good morning.
Just saying, if these trees start shooting missiles, they might have a couple of dead trees on their hands.
It's all in self-defense.
Means a lot of credits. You could be leaving on the ground. All right.
You want
Awesome
my?
shrugs.
You want to borrow my shield, Orson?
No, I get the sense that those missiles would have hit anyway.
Alright.
I need something specialist.
We'll see what we can find next time we get to go shopping, which with 8,000 credits will be a lot easier.
If in doubt, I can try to build something.
Some sort of like jammer or something to confuse them.
What, like the kind that goes on toast?
I mean, I don't entirely know what you eat, but I was thinking some gizmo that would stop missiles from targeting me. But if you eat the parts as well as work with the parts, that's your business.
What's that got to do with jam?
Jammer.
Oh, got you.
It's
Oh,
what
princess.
the thing's called there. H.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. If we slather him in grape jam or whatever, maybe he'll.
I suppose his temperature would drop. It might confuse him some, but I don't think that's
When I made that
entirely what
joke,
he had.
when I made that joke, I had a big stupid smile on my face.
I'm just gonna like look at the three girls suggesting slathering him in jam, and he's just like weighing it up in his head, doesn't refuse necessarily. But...
Kira will kind of wink at Orson and. All right, so we gotta go fix some stupid scientist mistake.
We tend to be cleaning
Oh,
out people.
Orson, as I am reading over the fine print on this here portable shield, it actually does say that it would protect you from missile, space missile, as it were.
Space missile. Aren't all missiles space missiles?
I mean, instead of magic missile, it's space missile.
Yeah,
But yeah, it protects you as per the shield spell, and the shield spell does cancel out magic missile. So if you want to take Demi's portable shield, she's offering it to you. You kind of get up in there a bit more than the rest of us.
I wasn't expecting space missiles, so we'll see. I'm pretty sure the trees won't fire space missiles. I think it might be like pine cones or something.
I mean,
they are androids, just like the things on the ship. I don't mind. And she kind of like offers it out to you. In fact, I insist, and she'll like grab your arm and
just take the shield.
Buckle it on for you.
19 acrobatics to like wheedle my way out.
Ooh, I got 19 on the dice, son. If you're gonna try and like wiggle out of it, Demi will kind of like not hurt you, but kind of twist the elbow a bit and kind of turn her body into it and push you up against the counter to like get it buckled on before you can wiggle free.
Orson just like whispers into her ear or something. I knew you did like those onions.
Well, now
Demi will
that's
give him a playful little nudge and be like, just take the shield and stop being so stubborn about it.
He just like narrows his eyes, just like playfully, as you strap it on.
Yeah, I'm aware she's the one being stubborn now.
Are we done?
Ma'am?
Good.
Orson just shrugged.
All right, I guess we should finish the breakfast and head back in and see if they're ready to head out.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I think before we get into this, because it's probably going to take the better part of a session, we should call it there.
Sure thing.